Hello, you boys, girls, take a minute to worry lots of stuff on this what if. Tests on Soul. Apparently, it's more aggressive and very potent. UA entered exams after a time skip of 6 years. Well, maybe 7. 6.5? Not sure. Anyways, moving on. Izuku is currently in Hollows Deep, doing some more tests. He's very focused on this, mainly because it could threaten the existence of Hollows Deep and the surface world. He goes up and checks his mail, which was a joke by the heroes by them just sticking a little thing, and yet he still gets mail somehow. He gets a postcard from Nose, with him on the open seas. You see, Nose's wife also went with him on a vacation. It was their anniversary. Izuku smiles at this as he sees a letter from UA, as he has passed. I believe it's time for him to go to school. His current outfit consists of his newly modified cloak and his UA uniform. To be fair, he's not allowed to wear his cloak, but he keeps it in his backpack just in case. And he still has his 2 nails by his side. And in class, Tenya Ida proceeds to scold him, while also praising him, with Izuku standing there, not listening. And once Aizawa comes in, Izuku understands and leaves to put on his PE uniform as Aizawa's instructed. As for in the locker rooms, Izuku bonks Mineta on the head with the side of his nails, one of them. As Kirishima remarks, "Hey dude, what's with the scars?" As Izuku proceeds to sign, they were from battles I've had in the past. Let's just say as I got older, the better I became as a fighter. Wow, manly. Bako's translating, by the way. And once Izuku gets out there, he's instructed to remove his nails. Leave his nails outside of the test, but Izuku does not listen. Once Aizawa tries taking them by force, Izuku starts squeezing his hand. Very, very tightly, almost breaking Aizawa's wrist. But there's just a bruise. For the test, Izuku does surprisingly good. He passes. Let's just say that. With Hakagure getting expelled, with Izuku nodding and leaving, there were no other classes that day since it was supposed to be orientation. So Izuku goes back down the mountain and back to Hollows Deep, with Aizawa following him. As once they arrive in Hollows Deep, when I say that, I mean inside of it, Izuku turns around, puts on the mask, and proceeds to speak. "What are you doing here, Shoto Aizawa?" "Well, I was kind of wondering if you were actually this Hollow Knight. Damn. Well, I've seen what I needed to see." With a soul centipede biting Aizawa's leg. Ow! Izuku goes over, slicing the centipede as it drops into Soul, as Izuku collects it, as he proceeds to kick Aizawa's leg that was bit, as Soul comes out of it. "What's this blue stuff?" "It's Soul. Do not get any more on you. I will not be helping you any further. If you mutate into a monster, it is not my fault." Izuku goes into a house, Aizawa following, asking more and more questions, with Izuku being annoyed as he says, Have you read up on me? Not necessarily. I have classes to prepare for. Well, let me inform you. I do not speak very often. When I do, you know that I am serious. You will follow my instructions to the T, and do not bother me. Those were my conditions. Along with the heroes helping me out with the infestation of the soul. To a certain degree, mainly just holding them back. I understand, I guess. Good, now leave. As Izawa proceeds to leave, Izuku smirks, saying, Well. Why have I felt like I've met that man before? Oh well. The next day, when Izuku comes into class, Aizawa calls him the problem child now, because he acts a lot older than he should. It's a defense mechanism that Izuku made. It's to make sure nobody messes with him. To make sure that he's competent enough in order to save himself and others. Because one time he made a mistake that he could never take back. A friend died. Not the little knight. A different friend. So he took up his vow of silence and started acting more like a guardian instead of a child. I apologize. Moving on. All Might comes in saying, I'm here like coming through the door like normal person. Sorry. As Izuku looks at him coldly and signs, what does a crazy person look like in your eyes? As Shoto comes up to Izuku saying, I'm sorry, but who's your father? Is it Aizawa? Izuku shakes his head no, as he signs Hisashi Midoriya. Ah, okay. Shoto Todoroki seems like the person who would know sign language, just because he's bored. Now it's time for Heroes vs. Villains test. Izuku proceeds to put on his outfit that he normally wears as the guardian of the Halls Deep. Which, believe it or not, is similar to Tokoyami's. Only with longer sleeves and a surprisingly large belt. With Izuku looking at Tokoyami curiously and gives him a hug. Thank you. Would you please get off me? Izuku nods and puts on his mask. The true darkness within. Izuku got a little bit too emotional. Although he didn't show it in his face, he felt it. With Bako making fun of Izuku, saying that hey yo, you look like a bird face over there. Izuku looking at Bako curiously and bringing out his nail. It was a joke! It was a joke! With slots being drawn, with Izuku being paired up with Tokoyami this time. As the heroes. Izuku walks the door and blitzes past Bakugo. After Bako proceeded to jump up, trying to use an explosion. Izuku dashes past Bakugo and comes back trying to hit him, with Bakugo maneuvering using an explosion to dodge, with Tokoyami using Dark Shadow to hold Bakugo and hit him once. Izuku coming down with a hammer or axe kick, whatever you prefer. Anyways, Izuku's heel comes in contact with Bakugo's skull, knocking him out, with Izuku tying him up just to make sure, with them proceeding to walk. With Izuku using a charm that he found that seemed practically useless. A charm of echolocation, otherwise known as super hearing. So Izuku stomps as there's nothing on that floor. So they proceed going up, repeating the process. And then they encounter Ida. There is 5 minutes left, with Izuku catching up to Ida's speed whenever Ida moves the bomb. Izuku's able to do this with constant dashing, being there for 0.001 seconds and then dashing again. To be fair, it overloads, and Izuku trips and falls, with Ida wearing himself out as Dark Shadow touches the bomb, as All Might yells, "Hero Team wins!" Wait, but that's his quirk. And technically it's touching my body, so it's technically an extension of myself. This is my shadow within. As Izuku proceeds to write something down in his notebook and shows it to Ida. What powers your engines? Well, mainly nutrients and some methane. As Izuku nods and leaves while writing some notes about Ida's quirk. Something smells like sauce. Izuku covers his mouth as he realizes what he just said. Wow, I thought you had a note of silence. Izuku signs, "Screw you, only the F word. I'm hungry. Also, I skipped lunch because I had to do more tests." Ah, yes. Okay, understood. I suppose there should be an adequate amount of time for Izuku to explore House Deep more. Go on a little vacation, per se, on the weekends. He actually enjoys himself for once. He goes to areas that he knows is nice and calming, like that place with the rain and a few shrines, while seeing a castle as he turns around and walks off, remembering what he saw with the little knights. As Izuku stumbles upon a statue that they made of him, which they did not show Izuku, which he just smiles, and under Izuku Midoriya, he engraves the message, "The Hollow Knight," in Japanese. And also the Hollow Knight in the native writing of Hollow's Deep. So Izuku just smiles, goes into his house, and sleeps, as he is reminded of everything that he's done, terrible things that he regrets, and the fact that he can't save everyone. It haunts him, but he understands it and embraces that fact. Instead, he will protect everything he can as the Hollow Knight. With Izuku feeling on top of his forehead as he feels his horns growing. And that's really awful. Goodbye, everybody. Horns.